Hello, my name is Stephanie Moberly. This is my Module 1 for EDL854. So let's take a look into my life. To start, I have been married to my husband for 13 years. We live in a rural community where I teach at the same school that I went to as a child. My husband and I were high school sweethearts and got married pretty much right out of high school. And our life revolves around farming. My husband farms, and then when we're not in the field, we are at the racetrack. We have 5 kids. Our oldest, Kale, is 10, and our second, Haven, is 7. Both of them drag race. So in my pictures here, you can see pictures of them with their race cars and their fire suits. We have Presley, who's 5. Kai is 3 years old, and he lives for the racetrack. He loves it. And then Collins here is just 1. So my work environment, so I've been teaching for 9 years. This is my 10th year right now. I had been to where we were departmentalized, and I taught nothing but 5th and 6th grade math. This year, due to COVID and some of the restrictions that we're having like that, we're not departmentalized anymore, so I'm self-contained 5th grade. So far I'm loving it. I'm taking these classes because I was actually asked to kind of pursue a leadership role by my building principal. She's retiring here in a couple years and is trying to figure out someone to pass the torch to. So I'm just testing the waters to see if this is something that I will enjoy. So for this module, we looked at inclusive culture. I found this in DeWitt. It says, create an inclusive school community for all students is the right thing to do because it allows a place for your school for all students regardless of gender, race, religion, and sexual orientation. So this is kind of the focus of our whole module is making sure that we have a culture that is inclusive for all students and staff. So what's the leader's role in maintaining or developing an inclusive culture? So I put first and foremost, a leader has to educate your staff. This can be done through the use of articles, just sending articles for staff to read. Discussions at staff meetings can be huge, just to kind of keep it in the forefront of everybody's mind. Using character education words. At my building, actually, we have a character trait of the month, where students are looking for a specific character trait within our students, and then those students get recognized at the end of the month. So this month, our focus is responsibility. We do like trustworthiness, things like that, to kind of bring, in those character traits that we want our students to have. And then train staff to address issues when they see them. So this can be done like in the hallway, even if it's not your student. If you see an issue, sometimes you'll see people just kind of ignoring it, so they don't have to deal with it. But if you can address it then, you're going to kind of nip it right in the bud and really teach them that this is a priority for you guys in your school. So become an advocate. An advocate is someone who empowers their students. I love this. For people who are advocates, these are some things that you'll see where students are provided with individualized approaches to curriculum, assessment, and instruction because of high expectations held for all students. I love that phrase included the high expectations. Students will only perform as well as you expect them to. Staff, students, parents, and community members collaborate in the design and delivery of effective education for all students. This is something that I strive to do in my classroom. I discuss a lot and have one-on-one conferences with my students about how we can go about their education and their learning. This will help them when they become older, just to become more aware of their learning styles and be able to communicate and advocate for themselves. Teachers and other professionals are giving students the opportunity to learn and think and be creative, and not just repeat information that they have memorized. When students are given the opportunity to present their knowledge in a way that they, enjoy, they're going they're going to feel empowered there. School staff members are facilitating students' social skills as students interact, relate to one another, and develop relationships and friendships. So as I have discussions with my students all the time, you don't have to be best friends, but you must be able to work with each other and use each other's, benefits, and their strengths to even out your weaknesses. We talk about all the time how you don't really have a say as to who you work with when you become an adult. So that skill of working with people who are different from you is a great skill to have. How to foster an inclusive culture. So if you're looking to create an inclusive culture within your school, I found these 7 key concepts. Academic support, prepare teachers, that goes back to the training staff. Curriculum, and this is not just based solely on your key core subjects, math and reading, but social emotional as well. Integrate student bodies, mixing students and getting them kind of outside their comfort zone and getting them used to other people within their buildings. Adjust ranking calculations. Create a respectful school community. That can be done a lot by going back and teaching your staff to address problems when they see them, no matter the situation. When students see that, they're going to feel respected and they're going to feel safe. And then create a space for discussion. Again, that's also going back to initializing or initiating those discussions within your staff meetings. When your teachers are talking about it, they're going to be teaching it, and it's just going to be, it's a trickle effect. It's going to go on down to your students as well. These are some references that I included or that I used throughout this presentation, and thank you for listening.